I'm so tired, feels like I've walked 1,000 miles. Uninspired, dunya's got me on my knees. But thankfully I've got Islam, oh. It gets me through trying times, oh. But when I read the noble Quran, oh, it tells me what's the truth and gives me all the proof. My Allah is the one. Louder. The one. The one. The one. My Allah is the one. Louder. The one. The one. The one. The beauty of Islam is that it makes things so clear. Quran and Sunnah are the manuals of my life. But thankfully I've got Islam, oh. It gets me through trying times, oh. But when I read the noble Quran, oh, it tells me what's the truth and gives me all the proof. My Allah is the one. The one. The one. The one. Louder. My Allah is the one. The one. The one. The one. First, in the name of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, the most just, the most kind, the most compassionate, the Lord of the honorable throne, the Lord of the Alameen, the King of kings, the Master and Mercy of the heavens, the earth, and the universe. And I send my peace and blessings on the beloved Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh, my brothers and sisters. Alhamdulillah, it's again a beautiful pleasure to be back here. Alhamdulillah, this is my last set, and right after I'm going to be heading back to the airport, inshallah, and going back to London. So basically, my brothers and sisters, let me start where I came from. Basically, obviously we've gathered that I've come from a time of ignorance and arrogance, and Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala guided me back to Islam. But who was I before? Before I started doing Nasheeds, I was a singer in R&B and pop music. So I used to do music like, commercial tracks, like you'd probably have like someone like Michael Jackson or whoever else is out there, that kind of music. But myself, my brothers and sisters, when I was growing up, I dropped out of school. I had no interest in school at all. I dropped out and I moved to America. I went to a state in America called Ohio, and I started working there for my dad's 7-Eleven shop. 7-Eleven is like a convenience store, and it's a very familiar thing that South Asians do, probably all over the West. And that's where I went and I started working there for 3 years. This was a really, really hard stage of my life, meaning in America, it's a first world country, obviously, but within America, there's a third world country. And what I mean with that is that there's a lot of poverty in America, a lot of poverty, to the extent where people don't have teeth, they can't pay for their health, they're just completely shattered. So when I saw that, I was shocked, but I was going through my own thing. So I finally spoke to my father and said, Dad, I need to leave, I need to come back. I need to come back to England. So when I came back to England, now imagine, brothers and sisters, I have nothing. I'm a nobody. Like, you have to remember something, brothers and sisters. When people stand on this stage, you have Ustad Adnan Rashid, you have Sheikh Haytham al-Haddad, and you have Sheikh Hussein. You have all these really established people, alhamdulillah. They're learning about the deen. They are established, alhamdulillah. But I'm just like you. I'm just like you. The only thing I have different to you that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has given me is a voice that I can recite from. That's it. So when I stand there, I talk to you about me, and it's a reflection of you. And that's just the truth of the matter. When I came back, I had nothing. So I sat there and I thought, what am I going to do with my life? One day, I'm telling you the journey of my life. One day I was sitting there and I was watching a program on TV called X Factor. Do you have X Factor in Norway? So I was watching it and I started singing along. And my friends go, oh, you've got a good voice. And I went, yeah, you're my friend, you're just lying to me. So they went, no, you've got a good voice. And I went, come on, what am I going to do? I don't even know what singing is. I've got no interest in this. So what I did on the side is I went to a music teacher. And I started, seeing if I could sing. So I started singing. The music teacher said, you've got a decent voice. And that is where I started from. And with that, I bought a guitar. I bought a piano. And one day when I walked into a shop, I saw a leaflet. And the leaflet said community college. And I thought, okay, what's this? This looks interesting. I picked it up and it said, enroll now into college through music. And I thought, I'm not doing nothing with my life. Let me try this. You have to remember, I was a very ignorant guy. I knew nothing about Islam. I was just a guy who just trying to live life and living every day as it comes. I used to go to sleep normally with music playing in my ears, waking up with music in my ears. That was my reality, and doing certain things which are not pleasing to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala forgive me, ameen. And when I saw this, I entered into this college, and I said, what do I need to do to get into this college? And how much is it? They went, firstly, it's free. And secondly, what you have to do is you have to send in a submission of your music. And I was like, I don't know how to do that. And they went, well, you better figure that out if you want to get into the college. So I thought, okay, so what do I have to do? So I walked into a shop in England, and I bought software for my computer. Bought software, got my guitar, started strumming the guitar. Didn't know how to play the guitar at all. Strummed it, recorded it, sent it to them, and they called me in. When I went in, I started playing the guitar, and they liked it, and they accepted me. That was music college for me, and from music college, I got into university. When I got into university, my mum and dad were very happy. I'm a South Asian guy, and education, alhamdulillah, is very important. It's very important in any culture, but South Asians love it, alhamdulillah. And for me, I told my mum and dad, look, I wasn't doing anything. I'm doing music, so this is what I have to do to get into university. And when I got into university, I got heavily into music. Heavily meaning, I bought more guitars. I bought 2 more guitars, and I was just practicing the guitar, playing music. But I'll tell you one thing, brothers and sisters. Your heart and your soul, you can't reject that. You can't reject that feeling. You can't turn that feeling away. You might be able to ignore it, but eventually you're going to have to face up to it. With that feeling in my heart of going here and doing this, I was doing really well. I was played on major commercial radio stations in England. I was coming up in the music mainstream industry. You have to go through underground DJs, disc jockeys, and you have to establish your name to even get close to a record deal. And I was chasing the record deal. But for me, my brothers and sisters, constantly seeing my mother praying salah, watching my father working so hard for me and my brothers and sisters, and his mother back in South Asia. And also having the remembrance and hearing my mother always recites the Quran, alhamdulillah, at Fajr time, and hearing that is something that was in their heart. Remember yesterday I was saying, if you were here, I said, when I was acting and when I got really bad, my mother looked at me and said, remember, I can't see what you're doing, but Allah can. For me, that was the factor, my connection with my Lord. So what happened was I released 2 tracks in the mainstream music industry in England, and we were working on a 3rd. And I remember I went back to the studio, and it was a very quick transition for me. I quickly went from 1 minute being this guy who wants to go to the Grammys to this guy who wants to go to Umrah and wants to, talk to my Lord and ask my Lord for forgiveness. And I walked into my studio and I started growing my beard now. And my producer thought it was a style. Like it's fashionable now, by the way, in England to have a beard and have your trousers rolled up. It's a fashion. But they don't know it's a sunnah of the Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam, alhamdulillah. So when I was walked into the studio, my producer goes, all right, he's on his keyboard, and he's like, all right, I've got the next track ready for you, bro. I'm like, no, I'm not doing music anymore. He goes, what? So what do you want to do? What did you come, what's up? What track do you want to do? And I went, basically, bro, I wanted to leave music. But I started speaking to somebody, and they go, don't leave music, bro. There's a thing in the Muslim world called Nasheeds. And when somebody said Nasheeds to me, I was like, what's that? So I looked at my producer when I want to do this thing called Nasheeds. And he goes, what is that? So my producer is an Arab, but he's Christian. And I go, it's basically gospel music, but it's praising Allah and, talking about the deen of Islam. And he went, what? He's shocked. You have to remember where it was a very quick transition. And he goes, okay, what's the name of your first nasheed? He didn't say nasheed, he said song. I said, Allah. And it went like this, Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim. Allah, you are my all. You are my love. Words can describe my love for you. Allah, you are my Lord. All praise is due to your beauty and compassion. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, Allah, I'm calling your name, oh Allah, I call you, I need you, Allahu Akbar, Allah, your mercy is great, oh Allah. And he just looked at me. He went, what are you doing, bro? That was really nice. I was like, alhamdulillah. And he goes, so, okay, what instrument do you want me to use? I went, no, you don't get it. This is a voice-only thing, bro. No instruments ever again. And he went, what? So, okay, no guitar, no keyboard. I went, nothing. And he went, this is going to be really hard, right? And I went, well, I don't know that, but let's see what we can do. So, thanks to the mercy of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, with that nasheed, Allah, I'm basically here today, to be honest with you. And one thing that I have to say to Muslims all over the world, and this is the reality, like Ustad Nasheed said, majority of Muslims listen to music. Let's not lie to ourselves. Majority. I know there's some people here who don't, but majority of Muslims listen to music. That's why when I do a cover of Adele or Tumiho or See You Again, it will get a lot of attention. Because Muslims want to hear something that they're familiar with. Because you know why? We're brainwashed by society. Because we hear music everywhere. When I studied in university, I studied the psychology of music. Music is a very powerful tool, which in my opinion, it's a tool that's been accessed by the devil, and he knows what he's doing. He knows what he's doing. Everything that he does, he knows what he's doing. And melodies, sounds, even if you don't understand the language, humanly, we listen to it and we're like, wow, that's nice. Why? Ask yourself why sometimes do non-Muslims, when they hear the adhan, they say, wow, that was beautiful. They don't understand the words. They understand the melody. We've got energy fields in our body which attracts these sounds. I can guarantee, I'm not going to ask you to put your name up in here, I can guarantee most of you in this room know who Drake is, know who Chris Brown is, know who all these guys are. But if I mention a couple of artists, nasheed artists, you'll be like, maybe not. Once somebody came up to me and he said, brother, why are you doing nasheeds for? And I went, brother, what's the problem? He goes, because you should be reciting Quran. I went, you're right. Quran is the ultimate goal for every Muslim. Every Muslim. I went, but my brother, there's a stage in life where you have to get to A to B. Look at me in the middle. I'm not A or B. Just look at me in the middle. I'm the bridge, inshallah. And I say to everybody, if you do listen to my nasheeds, and you're listening to music, I'm trying to give you a substitute. I'm trying to give you an alternative. When you listen to my nasheed and you stop listening to music, inshallah, then you know what? Throw away my nasheeds too and listen to the Quran. That is the goal. That's what I'm working for. Because I can tell you something right now. I was offered just 3 years ago a £50,000 record deal. You know what the condition was? You have to use guitars and violins and all that. I went, listen, my friend. When I left that dunya, I left it. You think money, and may Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala protect me, because we all need money, right? May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala protect me. You think money is going to make me sell my deen? And he was like, are you mad? I'm offering you £50,000. And I said, no, keep it. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala give me much more than that. Muslim audiences, mashallah tabarakallah, are the most beautiful audiences, but they are the most humbling audiences. And what I mean by humbling is, when I used to be in the R&B world, you have to remember, I wasn't standing in one place. I used to think I could dance, even though I can't. But that was my reality. You have to do it. That's the industry you're in. You have to think you can do everything. Who was one of the biggest musicians ever? Michael Jackson. He could do everything in the music kind of arena. Now I stand there and I stand like this, and my brother asked me, he went, Brother Omar, you want the microphone? You're going to be walking around? I went, I don't walk around, bro. I'm scared I might trip over or something, or I'm scared something might happen. I just stay in one place, and I stand and I recite and praise my Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. So, they're the best crowds, the most humbling. What do I mean by that? They just look at you. I remember I went to my first performance in 2012. I recited this nasheed, Allah. And when I finished, there was no lights. I can't really see you guys at the moment, which is it's a good thing, but not for you guys, for me, because I'm a very shy guy, right? Everybody just looked at me like this. And I was like, did I do anything wrong? Literally, I stopped there for literally 60 seconds. I was like, 60 seconds on stage is a very long time to be quiet. And then I went to the next event, same thing happened. Next event, same thing happened. Next event, same thing happened. And then I started getting like, oh God, what am I doing wrong? You have to remember where I've come from. And then once I went to an event and people started clapping, I went, huh? What's that about? Then I used to stop people from clapping. I said, don't clap for me. Make dua for me. Ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to make our message get to the highest level. You think we're competing? Who do you think we're competing with? Who do you think I'm competing with? I'm competing with the Drakes and the Chris Browns. Might sound to you, wow, that's a bit far-fetched. No, it's not. I have Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala with me. And my message will get to the world, inshallah. And that's why I stand here today. One day at a time, inshallah. I did a nasheed recently called Dawah. And you know, brothers and sisters, it's very difficult sometimes, right? Ustad Nasheed was saying about, da'wah, it's very powerful. You have the stalls and you're standing, you're talking. That's very powerful. So I thought, okay, let me do a nasheed, inshallah, which represents this call. And I did it with a dear brother who's actually been here before, Muslim Bilal. So I'm going to do that nasheed now, inshallah. It's the first time I'm doing it, inshallah, live. So Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim. They want to know about Islam, we'll give them da'wah. They want to know what a Muslim does, we'll give them da'wah. When they want to hate on our deen, we'll give them da'wah. Who's the one and only? Nobody but Allah. Let me break it down right now for you. See, da'wah is a call to you. It's an invitation to change your life. Calling you to see the truth. Back in the day I was living a lie. I was lost deep inside. Then I got another chance with my life. I was guided back to Islam. They want to know about Islam, we'll give them da'wah. They want to know what a Muslim does, we'll give them da'wah. When they want to hate on our deen, we'll give them da'wah. Who's the one and only? Nobody but Allah. What is the benefit of hanging in the streets, acting bad like you wanna run the scene? You're getting nothing from that empty life you lead. Come to Islam, you'll find your inner peace. No champagne, we don't rave. When a real hab, we just pray. When Akis link up, we'll be drinking Zamzam mint tea, talking about our deen and having our fun. See, these rappers don't want to run out of bars, but we don't want to run out of Iman. They want to know about Islam, we'll give them da'wah. They want to know what a Muslim does, we'll give them da'wah. When they want to hate on our deen, we'll give them da'wah. Who's the one and only? Nobody but Allah. And the reception I got for this nasheed in England was extraordinary, alhamdulillah. I remember in England there's a term called roadman. And a roadman is basically a guy who's on the streets, a brother who's on the streets. And the reality, you know what the reality of England is? Not all, but a very small reality. Oh yeah, Brexit is a reality, Sheikh. The Brexit is a reality, definitely. We're leaving the euro, unfortunately. I don't vote, but may Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala make it easy. I mean, the reality is that a lot of our brothers are some of the biggest drug dealers. Are some of the biggest drug dealers in England. You know what they say when you talk to them? Well, to some people. And you know when we talk to him, we say, brother, what are you doing, man? You selling drugs. He goes, I don't sell to Muslims though, bruv. I sell to the non-Muslims. That's halal for me. I went, who are you talking to? Where are you getting your fatwas from? What are you talking about? And they're ignorant. This is the reality. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala make it easy for us. Ameen. This is what we're dealing with. In England, there's this, our youth, and I'm a strong believer, and I believe our shayukh should speak more about musical instruments. Because I always say, and I look at people and say, when you used to do a bad deed in your past, or if you do one now, may Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala protect you from that, Ameen. Who is your partner in crime? They go, what do you mean? I go, so when you're doing that, who's there? Who's with you? He goes, well, probably another person. If it's me doing it on my own, then there's music. And I go, look, see? Music. So when you used to drink liquor, alcohol, what was music? Nightclubs. When you're doing something else, haram, what's with it? Music. It's a big thing that I feel, inshallah, our Shaykh will talk more about, inshallah. That's why, for me, this is my jihad. Hopefully, it's not being recorded, is it? I don't mean a jihad like that. I mean, for me, this is my jihad. Voice-only instruments. And I'll tell you something. At the time of the Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam, he was sitting there once with his companions, and the people were slandering him. With words and poetry was coming out. That was the way they used to discuss sometimes. They used to release, like now, for example, you have propaganda and people will release a song and they'll say certain things in that message and, so on and so forth. At the time, this was happening a lot to our Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam. And he said, who is going to reply for me? And obviously the Sahabas, they're warriors, right? So they got up and some of them got their swords and went, we'll reply. And he went, no, I don't mean like that. With words. And he looked at Hassan ibn Thabit radiallahu anhu. And he said, you're going to reply to them with your words, with your poetry. And Hassan ibn Thabit radiallahu anhu had a member in the Masjid of Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam. So we have to see the power of words, the power of speaking and using our voice. I once went on a very mainstream show. I actually went with Ustad Adnan Nasheed. It was the first time I met Ustad. And I remember he was sitting in the hotel and I walked up and I was, for us, these are our legends. Sheikh Haytham al-Haddad, Ustad Adnan Nasheed. These are the people I look up to, alhamdulillah. And all the shayukh and all the brothers who are doing good for the da'wah. And I went up and said, Assalamu alaikum, Ustad, I hope you're well. And he was like, your name is? And I went, Omar Esa, nice to meet you. And the next day we went on a program called BBC Big Questions. It's a big show in England. And the main guy on the show, he is very anti-Islam. Very anti-Islam. So they invited me to speak about music and religion. So I was sitting there, and first they started talking about Syria. Then they started talking about a very bad subject, which I'm not going to mention, but it was like to do with adult material in schools. They wanted to introduce that kind of stuff, adult material, into schools. And I was sitting there and I was thinking, how am I going to talk about voice-only nasheeds when most of the audience here are agreeing to having adult material in schools so children can understand it? So I was sitting there, I was like, oh man, I've got to really start making dua to Allah to help me with this one. So when it came to the point of speaking about music, the guy, he started laughing, the presenter. He started going, so Muslims are saying that if my daughter plays the violin, she's going to go to hell. Come on. And I was like, what is this guy talking about? So he's already started on a negative tone. And then he came to me and he said, hello, Omar Esa, you're a voice-only artist. So what do you do this for? I looked at him and I went, well, to be very honest with you, we've got enough of sex, drugs, and rock and roll. I'm trying to give you a message, which is a positive message, which is a message about life, and I'm also teaching people about my religion of Islam. And he goes, can you give me a little taster? And I went, okay, so in my mind now, you have to remember, when I'm listening, I'm watching the show, this is the last part of the show, I was thinking, what am I going to do, my Allah, to put the message out there that what we do with our voice, for the sake of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, is penetrating the hearts. So I went, okay. And remember, only Ustad and Nasheed could understand Arabic. And I went, Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim. Subhanallahi wa bihamdihi. Subhanallah alladhi Allah. And that's all I did. And these words, this dua in the hadith, Sahih Bukhari, is Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam had said that these are the most beautiful words to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And you know, the guy did not stop tweeting me for 2 days. His production team were coming up going, that was amazing, that was beautiful. And I was like, Allahu Akbar. Imagine if I told you what the meaning of this was. Praising our master, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And I remember from that, so many things came out of it. So many things. The power of the voice and the power of being proud of who you are as a Muslim. What I want to do now, inshallah, is, I'm going to try. Hopefully it works, inshallah. So, we all love Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, right? Yes. That's not really convincing. We all love Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, right? Yes. Okay, alhamdulillah. So, I write my nasheeds, my brothers and sisters, based on ayah of the Quran, surahs of the Quran, or hadith of the Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam. And I wrote this nasheed called The One. And in it, I just praise my master that Tawheed, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, is the one and only. So, I'm going to say, Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim. My Allah is the one. And you're going to say the one after me. So we'll try it. My Allah is the one. That's not good enough. You just said you love Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. So you show how much you love Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Right? My Allah is the one. I don't think that's good enough. I had children on stage. There's no children here, but usually when I do performances, I bring children. 5 of them, and they've raised the roof. My Allah is the one. The one. The one. The one. Okay, alhamdulillah. That's it. So we've got that. So the nasheed is called The One. Whenever I do that, you're going to say The One. Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim. I'm so tired, feels like I've walked 1,000 miles, uninspired, dunya's got me on my knees, but thankfully I've got Islam, oh, it gets me through trying times, oh. But when I read the noble Quran, oh, It tells me what's the truth and gives me all the proof. My Allah is the one. Louder. The one. The one. The one. My Allah is the one. Louder. The one. The one. The one. The beauty of Islam is that it makes things so clear. Quran and Sunnah are the manuals of my life. But thankfully I've got Islam. Oh, it gets me through trying times. Oh, but when I read the noble Quran, oh, it tells me what's the truth and gives me all the proof. My Allah is the one. The one. The one. The one. Louder. My Allah is the one. The one. The one. The one. Alhamdulillah. Alhamdulillah. So, brothers and sisters, there are lots of obstacles in your way when you start working for the sake of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. I'm not joking to you. When I used to do R&B music, nobody used to criticize me. Nobody. I mean, it was always people saying good things and all this kind of stuff. As soon as I got into Nasheeds, I remember the first Nasheed I released, Allah, I released it and somebody sent me a message going, brother, I just wanted to give you some advice. And obviously I'm new, I'm like, what? What kind of advice does this guy want from me? And I go, okay, yes, bro. And he goes, you're pronouncing Allah incorrectly. You're pronouncing it with an empty mouth. And I was pronouncing it with an empty mouth back in the day. But I didn't know anything about the deen. I didn't even know the alphabet, Arabic alphabet. So me, being from that world, I snapped. I straight went, who are you talking to? And he was like, huh? I was only advising. I went, who are you to advise me? Do I even know who you are? Now he's one of the main people for Islamic Relief in England, alhamdulillah. So that's probably why I don't get booked by them. But now, I conduct myself very differently. Because you have to remember, ignorance is a very dangerous place. Ignorance is a place where you think you're special, you're the only person in the world, and oh, me. But when you start practicing this religion, it becomes about you and me. That's the beautiful thing about Islam. So, it still happens. I still get the messages sometimes. Alhamdulillah, 99.9% of the comments are positive. Messages are positive. But you do have those 0.1% who come forward and say certain things. But the best answer, sometimes I find, is just ignoring them. I speak to a lot of shayukh, and I always put my work through, basically, and they've got my number. So if anything happens, they'll message me. So I just leave it like that. Because you have to remember, there's levels to this. There's levels to this. If you read a book, you're not an automatic expert on this religion of Islam. No. You have to study for years on years on years. But now we have a kind of a mentality where it's, oh, okay, I know about the religion. I know what I'm doing. So, let me give you the, like Ustad was saying before. Everybody has an opinion. But the most beautiful thing is that understand who you are. Understand who you are. You don't know. I always say to people, you don't know who's beloved to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. You don't know who is beloved to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. So be that person. Look at yourself. My mother says to me, she goes, Omar, look at yourself first, then look at other people. Don't ever judge people. And when you look at yourself, you'll find that I've got no place to judge anybody. No place to judge anybody. So, my brothers and sisters, I've got 2 minutes left. And I'm going to do an Urdu nasheed now. And I know majority of you guys don't speak Urdu, but I don't want you to get up and go, okay, see you later. In this nasheed, I'm praising my master, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And let me summarize what it's about. I'm just basically saying, oh Allah, I wanna be in your remembrance night and day. Allah, I wanna remember you, because ultimately my Lord, my master, my majesty, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, you are my helper. Human beings will forget you. I give an example of human beings sometimes. You give them a pound, a euro, whatever your currency is in this country. You give someone a pound a day, for 364 days of the year. But on the 365th day, you don't give it. Unfortunately, most humans will remember that one day and forget all them other days. This is the reality. And I'm putting myself in that category. People do so much good. And then one thing that your friend or your family member does to you a little bit not good, it's not bad. You remember that. We should, example to myself, because when something comes out of my mouth, it reaches my ears first. We should always remember the good that people do for us. And if there is somebody who you're not fond of, just stay away from them. Assalamu alaikum. Keep it at a distance. So ultimately, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is our only helper. Wallahi, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala will help us whenever we call Him. Sometimes the reply may take time, but that is what is patience. That's having faith in Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. That's believing that your Lord is going to help you. But I have to understand that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is the best of planners, and when Allah wills, it will come my way. I've actually got 36 seconds now. Can I do the Urdu Nasheed? Okay, so I'm going to try it with the backing vocals. So this is going to be interesting, inshallah. It's called Rab. Is that okay? Is that loud enough? Can you hear that backing vocals? I know you brothers can. Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. हर सांस उसकी मेरी जान रब का मुझ पर बहुत है एहसान हर सांस उसकी मेरी जान रब का मुझ पर बहुत है एहसान कैसे उसे ही भूल जाऊं जिंदगी भर रब को चाहूं रब को याद करो रब को याद करो रब को याद करो दिन रात याद करो रब नु याद करा रब नु याद करा रब नु याद करा दिन रात याद करा या रब सीधी राह दिखा दे या रब मुझे अपना बना ले सोता हूँ जब जागता हूँ यही दुआ बस मांगता हूँ कैसे उसे ही भूल जाऊँ जिंदगी भर रब को चाहूँ रब को याद करो रब को याद करो रब को याद करो दिन रात याद करो रब नु याद करा रब नु याद करा रब नु याद करा दिन रात याद करा रब वे सोनिया सच्चा सहारा तू रब वे सोनिया सच्चा सहारा तू रब वे सोनिया सब तू प्यारा तू रब वे सोनिया सब तू प्यारा तू रब को याद करो रब को याद करो रब को याद करो दिन रात याद करो रब नु याद करा रब नु याद करा रब नु याद करा दिन रात याद करा My brothers and sisters, it's been a beautiful honor and pleasure, and I'm grateful to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, my master, my majesty, to come to Norway. Wallahi, again, I'm just a normal brother working for the sake of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. I'm a slave of my master, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And if my Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, my master wills, I will serve him until the day I die. And with me, my service is through what Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has given me. And I will work until the end, inshallah, to give you, brothers and sisters, and all the ummah, 1.5 billion of you, inshallah, an alternative. So when you listen to my nasheeds, remember, when you listen to my nasheeds, you're listening to music. Here's the kind of the line quickly before I get off. You listen to music, right? If you do, I'm going to give you a substitute for that, inshallah. When you listen to my nasheeds and you stop listening to music, now obviously you're going to start listening, you're going to start reading the Quran and listening to the Quran. And when you get into that habit, delete my nasheeds too. Throw them in the bin. Quran is the ultimate for all of us. Do not go to sleep listening to music or nasheed. That's my advice. If a nasheed is praising Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala and Muhammad sallallahu alayhi wa sallam, yes, but the best thing, if you want to listen to before you're about to go to sleep, is the Quran. And that is the truth, and that is the book for us, for our life. I'm your brother Omar Esa. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Feels like I've walked 1,000 miles, uninspired. Dunya's got me on my knees, but thankfully I've got Islam. Oh, it gets me through trying times. Oh, but when I read the noble Quran, oh, it tells me what's the truth and gives me all the proof. My Allah is the one. Louder. The one. The one. The one. My Allah is the one. Louder. The one. The one.